Minimalist photography isn't about empty frames and negative space. That's what Instagram told you. Here's what it actually means. I'm going to show you a tip that will transform how easy it is to create minimalist photographs. I shot these three images at Glass and Dock using a 40mm lens. It's a working port with boats, equipment, industrial mess everywhere. Not exactly minimalist, right? But look at what I found. Water flowing through worn lock gates. This rope wrapped around a weathered steel bollard. And this Guinness beer mat through the window of a derelict pub. Each one is minimal, each one works as a composition, and none of them required a pristine empty location. I'm going to show you three examples of this tip in action. How I isolated what mattered, even when surrounded by clutter. How I photographed traces instead of things. And how I stripped scenes to their timeless core. The tip? Setting yourself a theme. Notice all three of these are black and white. When you're creating minimalist work, removing colour forces you to see structure, texture and form. There's no hiding behind pretty sunsets. Either your composition works or it doesn't. I shot these with the TT Artisan 40mm f2 lens. Now TT Artisan sent me the lens to test, and I'll share my thoughts on it later in the video. But here's the fundamental point. Minimalism is about what you include and exclude in your frame. One element that tells the complete story. Everything else removed, that's it. Simple concept, but difficult to execute when you're surrounded by visual clutter. So here's the tip that makes it easier. Give yourself a theme before you shoot. The theme I used was memory and time, and that theme helped me filter what I was seeing and recognize minimalist subjects faster. Without a theme, you're just looking for simple compositions. With a theme, you know exactly what you're searching for, and that's what I'm teaching you today. The first example of how the theme helped me find a minimalist composition is this water flowing through the lock gates at Glass and Dock. The gates are weathered and worn, showing decades of use. The water's blurred from a slower shutter speed. My theme was memory and time, so as I walked around, I was specifically looking for things that showed time's passage. And when I saw these lock gates with the water gushing through, that theme made me recognize that this was worth photographing. The composition is minimal because I've included only what matters. The worn gates, the texture, the flowing water, the contrast between them. Nothing else. No context of the wider dock, no sky, no surrounding structures. Just the essential elements. And this is what the theme does. It helps you recognize subjects faster. I wasn't just looking for nice compositions, I was looking for evidence of time. That filtering made me see the detail instead of walking past it. Try this. Pick a theme before your next shoot. It could be memory, transition, connection, decay, anything specific. And then look for subjects that fit that theme and compose them minimally. Just the essential elements, everything else excluded. The theme speeds up your seeing. The minimalist composition is still down to what you include and what you exclude. This is the rope from the Helene. It's a 1916 tall ship, and it's wrapped around a steel bollard. So look at the weathering on that steel, the oxidation, the worn surface, the rope marks, decades of boats tying up here. Again, my memory and time theme made me notice this. I was actively hunting for things that showed time's passage through use. The bollard was right there on the dock, but without the theme filtering my attention, I might just have walked past it. The minimalist composition came from getting close and filling the frame with texture. No wider context, no whole boat, no surrounding dock, just the rope. The weathered steel, the evidence of time, everything else excluded. This is the relationship between theme and minimalism. The theme helps you find subjects worth photographing. The minimalist approach determines how you compose them. Try this. Using whatever theme you've picked, get really close to your subject. Fill the frame with the detail that expresses your theme. Remove everything else. The theme finds it, and minimalism composes it. This is a Guinness beer mat photographed through the window of a derelict Victoria Inn. The whole pub's abandoned, but I didn't photograph the empty building. I found this one forgotten detail. My memory and time theme made me look for traces of what was here before. Someone sat at this spot, had a drink, left the mat behind. That's the memory. The fact that it's still there in the abandoned building is the time. Without the theme, I'd have probably photographed the whole derelict pub. A wide shot, atmospheric, decay, all of that. But the theme made me hunt for those human details instead. And that's what led me to the beer mat. The minimalist composition is a shallow depth of field, isolating that one detail. The decay blurs in the background, and all the viewer sees is that forgotten object, one element telling the complete story. So try this with your chosen theme. Look for the smallest detail that expresses it, not the obvious wide shot, the intimate trace that makes people ask questions. Then isolate it completely. That's minimalism. 3 examples of how one theme, memory and time, helped me find a minimalist composition in a cluttered working port. The theme filtered my seeing. The minimalist approach determined my framing. So here's the actual teaching. Minimalism is about disciplined composition. One element that carries the story and everything else excluded from the frame. The tip that makes it easier is using a theme to filter what you see. The theme isn't what minimalism means. The theme is the tool that helps you find minimalist subjects faster. Memory and time is just one example. You could use transition, isolation, connection, tension, decay, renewal, any theme that interests you. A specific theme doesn't matter. What matters is having one because it focuses your attention. Black and white reinforces minimalist discipline because it removes colour, and what's left is form, texture, light. Either your composition works with just those elements or it doesn't. But the core skill is this: recognizing one element that carries the complete story and excluding everything else. The theme helps you recognize subjects worth that treatment. That's the relationship. Minimalism is the discipline. Theme is the tool that makes the discipline easier to apply. Right, so how do you apply this yourself? First, pick a location with visual variety. Working areas, industrial areas, historic places. You need options for your theme to work against. Second, choose your theme before you arrive. Memory and time work for me, but pick whatever interests you. Make it specific enough to generate clear questions. And thirdly, commit to black and white from the start. It'll change how you see immediately. Fourthly, as you shoot, let the theme filter your attention. Keep asking, does this fit my theme? That question speeds up your recognition of potential subjects. And fifthly, once you find a subject that fits your theme, compose it minimally. Get close, fill the frame. Exclude everything that doesn't contribute. That's where the minimalism actually happens. And finally, edit ruthlessly. Most images won't work. You're learning to combine theme-based seeing with minimalist discipline, and that takes practice. The theme is your search filter. Minimalism is your compositional discipline. Use both. Okay, let me just talk quickly about the TT Artisan 40mm lens I used. It's a budget lens. It costs, I think, around $170. It has a nice all-metal construction and the build feels solid. It's very light and compact. I found the autofocus worked very well. Skipped once or twice, but most of the time it was quick and accurate. The aperturing has really nice positive clicks. You can leave it in just auto, or you can select the aperture manually. It does have some vignetting. And the bokeh isn't perfect circles, they're slightly distorted. It'll suffer from flaring too. But for black and white minimalist work, those quirks just gave it character. And the vintage rendering of this lens really suited this style of photography. I think it's great value for money, and I'll definitely use it again, especially for things like travel and street photography. If using themes to find minimalist subjects clicked for you, I've got a free ebook, How to See Light Like a Pro Photographer. Everything we've covered today, isolating elements, working with contrast and form, depends on understanding light. And this ebook breaks down how to read light deliberately and how to use it to strengthen your compositions. There's a link in the description, drop your email and you'll get the ebook for free. And why not subscribe for more in the series? I'm exploring different ways of seeing through my project on Morecambe Bay, so there's more coming soon. Right, just to recap, minimalism is about what you include and exclude in your frame. One element, everything else removed. That's the definition. The tip that makes it easier is give yourself a theme. I used memory and time, the theme that helped me find 3 very different minimalist subjects in one difficult, cluttered location. The theme filters your attention. The minimalist discipline determines your composition. Using both together, shoot in black and white, get close, and be ruthless in editing. But most importantly, pick your theme before you shoot and let it guide what you look for. Now, next up, I'm going to look at photographing familiar places versus new locations, different problems, different strategies. So get out there, pick your theme, practice minimalist discipline, and I'll see you in the next one.